Sir, my next question to you is, sir, like we saw a green revolution in 1960s. We saw IT revolution, computer revolution, where you contributed a lot in 1980s. Then we saw telecom revolution also, sir. And then we saw knowledge revolution also, and you were chairman of knowledge commission in your second inning. Where did we miss the industrial revolution? Because that is something which is the handicap of the country. If we see, sir, give me one more minute, sir. If we see like electronic manufacturing, India is nowhere. We don't manufacture electronics. We don't manufacture any equipment. So fabrication of electronics devices, etc., is not in India. So where did we miss that industrial revolution?
It's very simple to me. You see, if you look at the history of India from the viewpoint of technology, the first major contribution was atomic energy. That was Bhabha and Nehru's partnership.
Right.
Then came agriculture, Green Revolution. Then we had Korean Milk Revolution. Then we had Space Revolution. And then we had Telecom Revolution. Okay. But in Telecom Revolution, we started with local production, indigenous development, ancillary industries. You know, we did not make even transformer in India, audio transformer,
Right.
not the power transformer, okay? Because it requires special mu metal and all. Okay? So we build all that infrastructure. But when the expansion came, we decided to take shortcut. So our Indian entrepreneurs and government did not support local industry. They supported import because it was quicker, faster, cheaper. In the process, we built this huge telecom market for somebody else, not for us. If we had waited for 2 years and sweated a little bit and given orders to local company, learn from mistake, fix mistakes, but the first mistake local company made, you'll say, no good, let's go import. Okay. That mentality of importing and quick fixes and simple money really put us in trouble. C-Dot was far ahead of Huawei, far ahead. Okay, we could have built our own Huawei 3 times. Okay, we had all the talent, we had all the capabilities. But it required government support. Huawei's were built, or companies like Huawei's were built with Chinese government support. If government doesn't buy from us, who would buy? So import lobby would say, no. Don't buy from C-Dot. And they'll come up with some reason that fellow is 2% cheaper, that fellow 5 more features, okay? And it still goes on. And when we were trying to create this Bharat network, broadband network, you know, we had C-Dot designed router. And I wanted to make sure that we use C-Dot router. And there was so much resistance. This pin doesn't work, that numbering scheme is not right, some irrelevant issue. But they blow it out of proportion. And ultimately they favor import. Okay. And if you favor import, you don't build local industry. To build local industry, you must buy from local companies. Defense is a classical example. If Defense Department said that we will buy 50% of what we buy from Indian industry, you will have local industry. If Defense Department doesn't buy from local industry, why would you have local industry? And it's all token. Today, it's just sort of cosmetic. Okay, so you get some import and then you put some screws and value addition is very little. You know, people say, oh, we are producing, you know, cell phones in India. Fine. What is your value addition? Okay.
That's true.
So people say one thing, but they don't give you facts. It's a different kind of lying. Okay? You can say, oh, we are producing phones in India. Fine, but what are you producing? Are you producing display? No. Are you producing chipsets? No. Are you producing, high value items? No. What are you doing? I'm assembling it. Okay, on a $1,000 phone, what's your value addition? $50. Okay. So the bottom line is government commitment to buy from local industry. Everything. You take one by one, but then you'll say, oh, GATT comes in and, we can't do this and we have to have fair competition. Fine. How did Chinese do it? How did Chinese protect? Why did Chinese all of a sudden in 20 years become the biggest manufacturing hub of the world? By using policies in a way which really helped them. But we want to be fair. We want to be open. We want to be transparent, which is good. But at the same time, we need to really build local base. And it's not just in electronics. Electronics import is the largest, as big as oil import. Okay. I'm told we import something like $400 billion worth of electronics equipment, which is huge. Okay. And I don't see that changing. Believe me. It may be cosmetics here and there, but the big numbers are not changing because we haven't built from ground up. We are trying to build from top down. Okay. Everything in India has to happen from bottom up and not top down. Today, everything is top down. And that's where Gandhi comes in. Gandhian ideas were to build bottom up. So what we do is we may have one big plant in some state and GDP looks good. So everybody says, look what this state has done, a great job. Wait a minute. It is top down. One plant can change your, GDP in the state, but how many jobs it has created? What did it do to local people?
Yes.
Okay. I think these questions are very difficult questions to ask and answer.
Very true. Okay. So, sir, when we are saying this bottom-up approach, are you somewhere linking it to the entrepreneurship culture in our country where people start making on their own?
India is very entrepreneurial, contrary to what people say. Don't connect entrepreneurship with only high tech. Chaiwala is an entrepreneur.
Very true.
Panwala is an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Oh, Rekdiwala, the one guy who sells ice cream, is an entrepreneur. Okay. Very Farmer true. Is an entrepreneur.
Very true.
Okay. So we have entrepreneurial culture. We need to light a fire. We haven't been able to light a fire in them. Look at the amount of forms you have to fill. Okay. I mean, for the first time, I opened a bank account a few months ago. Let me use this story. Okay. I never had a bank account in India because I didn't earn anything and I took money from here and spent it. Okay. So I had a little home that my father left for me in Titlagarh that we had no one had visited for 30 years. So finally we thought we should sell it because it's falling apart. It was built 70, 80 years ago. So we sold it. Now I have to take that money in a bank account. So I have to open a bank account. The amount of forms I have filled is absolutely unreal. I said, why would I open a bank account by this name and that name and father certificate and this certificate and that? Oh my God, it's just ridiculous. It took me 3 months. Okay. And still not done. Now at the end, somebody is asking me that, give us a proof that your father left that house to you. My father died 30 years ago. Okay. So it's stuck. Entrepreneurs need freedom, flexibility. People think we have simplified process in India. No, you have not simplified anything. Okay. It was very complex. Now it is complex. It was very complex. Now it is complex. Understand that. You should be able to start a business in 24 hours. But everything is based on mistrust. We don't trust you. So show me this, show me that, show me this, show me this. As opposed to saying, okay, you're an entrepreneur, we trust you. We don't need to know anything from you. You want to start a business? Here it is, go do it. But 10 guys who are crooks affect 90 people who are honest.
Very true.
So India is full of entrepreneurs. Give them a chance. Turn them loose. Indian jeweler is an entrepreneur. Okay, look at a jewelry shop. Okay.
Very true.
So they are all good working people. Give them a chance. Okay. Trust them. Love them. And let some make mistakes. Let some screw up. That's okay. That's part of the price we pay. But believe that there are enough good people. Don't believe that there are enough bad people. So you harass the good people also.
Again, sir, Gandhian philosophy. Whatever
Huh?
you're saying, again, Gandhian philosophy.
It's Gandhian philosophy, bhai. It's very simple.
Yes.
Trust the guy. Don't mistrust him by asking him 50 questions.
True.
I mean, I'm on the board of National Herald. Okay. And you have to fill in all these forms as a board directors. And one form I had to list all my brothers and sisters and their children. I mean, I got 85 people to list. What does that has to do with National Herald? I don't understand. And then one question was, what is the income of your son and his wife? The funny thing, I said, I won't write it. I'm not going to ask my son's wife, what's your income? But this is required to be a director. Okay. I mean, how do you fight this battle? And then if you don't fill, there'll be headline in the paper, you are money laundering. Crazy people. Okay.
Very true, sir. That is
Right?
true.
And a lot of people will believe it also. Kya kuch hoga ye to ye America mein hai, there must be something wrong. We trust people, yeah.
It should be, sir. It's a great message, sir, from your side. That is
Plus,
true.
I mean, it's Gandhian.
Yeah, very
Okay.
true. Yeah.
We trust our people,
You need to have faith on them.
back them up, and say, look, you're good.
Hmm. Actually,
I trust
Gandhiji
you.
wanted to empower the people only, sir. If you empower
Right.
them,
Exactly.
trust you.
You know,
That is how it is going
and
to
I
be.
know you will pay your tax.
Hmm.
Okay, maybe in the beginning you will be, but when you see things happening, you will pay your tax. But you won't cheat.
Yes.
If some cheats, that's okay. I don't like it. Okay. But just because that one guy cheats, I'm not going to suffer 90 people by asking stupid questions. So entrepreneurship is about freedom. Entrepreneurship is about trust.
Very true.
Okay. And we have missed that. Okay. And then you want to build entrepreneurs. It's not possible to build entrepreneurs if you don't trust them. Okay. You ask them 50 questions. What about this? Where did you get money? How did the bank account open? Who did this? Let him run the business. Okay. And every quarter you have to fill so many forms.
Right, sir.
Okay. And somebody will say, why do I want to be an entrepreneur in India? He'll harass me. He'll send some inspector, he'll ask some questions, he'll find some dumb stuff and say, this is not right, isko fix karo, usko fix karo. Arbi, leave me alone. Let me do my job. Let me earn money. Let me build economy. And
Create
trust
jobs.
me. Yeah.
Create jobs. Sir, I want to ask you, like, this when British came to India, sir, India that time was Atmanirbhar, and then self-sufficient village economy used to be there. Your father, you said, it was carpenter, so that time goldsmith, weaver, blacksmith, potter, farmers, everybody was self-sustaining when British came to India, and then India was converted into market. Now, after so many decades of independence, still we are market, sir. We are seen as a huge market. So, what do you see? Where do you see? When can India become self-sufficient or Atmanirbhar and not just a market?
Okay. First of all, we all know that India was the largest economy along with China in 1776 or 1786. Then came British Raj, and Indian economy went from 27% to 2%. That's what colonization is all about.
Yes.
By definition, colonization means they'll take raw material from you,
Give finished
produce,
product.
and bring it back to you. Okay.
Very true.
So this colonization period went on world over. Okay. When we became independent in 47, we were robbed of everything. Okay. We had no talent pool. We had no institutions, no infrastructure, and rightfully so, we had to build everything from scratch. So when people sitting in 2020 make a judgment on what people did in 1947, our founding fathers, that's a wrong way to look at it. You have to see it from the viewpoint of 1947 and not 2020. So then Pandit Nehru and others, great visionary people, when they get criticized, it hurts that these ignorant people who haven't done anything in life can't even write 2 paragraphs. Go read Nehru's book, Discovery of India, and see how that man wrote that book sitting in jail without Google, without library. And the guys today commenting on him can't even write 2 paragraphs. So these people said we have to build our own base. So we need to build our own dams, build our own IITs, build our own steel mills, build our own machine factories. But it will take 20, 30 years because we have nothing. When IITs were built, I know the story about Kharagpur or something. There were 2 people in Kharagpur. And look at what it is today, but it took 50, 70 years. Nation building is very different from building a company.
Yes.
Those who comment today on nation building have only built a company. They have never built a nation.
Very true.
So you can't take a guy who is running a company, his comment too seriously. He may have built a $1 billion company. That's okay. We respect that. But don't comment on nation building. Okay. Understand these people that they had to build public sector.
Without any resources in hand.
Because there's nothing there. Now we can argue and say, okay, we should have privatized little earlier. I buy that. Rather than 1991, maybe we should have privatized in 1981. We tried in Rajiv Gandhi's time in 85, but there was a lot of resistance from our own people. So all we can do is accept what we did and not go much in the history and spend too much time criticizing, build on what we got. See, we always go back to history to justify our inaction. We go to Ram, we go to Krishna, we go to Arjun, we go to all this stuff. Look at the amount of hassle we have gone through in Ram Temple. Okay. It is okay to go back to history to gain strength. But you always have to look forward.
Yes.
And when you look forward, you have to see what you got. Accept it. And not get trapped. Just say, this is what we have. We have great young people. We have lack of funds. We have lack of institutions. Now let's build on it. To build on these things, you again need to go back to Gandhian ideas. You cannot build a nation without democracy. So when you try to fiddle with democracy, you're fiddling with a nation. You're fiddling with institutions. You can't build a nation without proper justice.
Right, sir.
So when judiciary is controlled, you can't build a nation. You can't build a nation without freedom. Okay, when you and I are told what to say and how much to say by media, okay, and media keeps promoting all this hype, you are interfering with nation building.
So constitution and constitutional body should be respected and they should be very strong.
Exactly. So we need to have independent institutions,
Right.
whether it is education or health or judiciary. We got to have people with freedom. So you can say whatever you want to say. It's okay for you to criticize me. There's nothing wrong with it. That doesn't mean you are against me. You may be against my idea. I think people in India get confused. criticizing my idea is different from criticizing me. And even if you criticize me, it's okay. Because today you'll criticize me, tomorrow you won't. It's not a lifetime thing. But we have to agree on basic principles. And when basic principles are being threatened, I worry. So I worry a great deal about India right now. Because democracy is threatened, freedom is threatened, institutions are hijacked, okay? And bunch of people think they don't have all the answers. And the communication has been cut off, okay? And that bothers me, and that's Gandhian. Okay? Our founding fathers had the right values. We are all lucky that they built a nation like India and not like Pakistan. We are lucky that followed American model of democracy and made it better. Okay. We are lucky that we have the kind of diversity we have. Okay. We are a great nation. Look at all these festivals and songs and food, and I mean, no other country in the world has the kind of diversity we have.
It's a beauty.
From north to south, east to west, festivals, music, songs, culture, it's just unreal. Okay. And we ought to be celebrating that. Okay. My wife was listening yesterday to something, and it was a Punjabi wedding song. Okay. And I was writing something, I stopped writing. I thought, what a beautiful song this is. Okay. I didn't understand all the words, but I understood some of it. But look at that richness. I mean, look at richness in Vaishnavajan to Tenere Kahiye. That song was written 500 years ago. 500 years ago, some guy had this clear idea. You follow that song, you don't need to do anything else. Okay, that song says it all. No other country has this kind of wisdom, believe me. But how do you explain this to people? It's tough. Sorry, I get carried away a little bit.
That's required, sir. That's required actually.